The road to the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship begins tonight. The NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series on the racetrack for the first of 12 races in their 2011 Season 4 schedule. 25 drivers from this series will transfer in to the 2012 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Good evening, my name is Tim Terry, joined by Nim Cross. And Nim, these drivers are excited to be out here on the racetrack. We just went through qualifying. We sent a couple of these drivers home. Got to be heartbreaking not to make the first race of the season, but the 43 that are here now can focus on this 167-lap race at Texas.
Yeah, this is the first step in trying to achieve that championship that will be given out in the 2012 season. All these drivers need to work hard in this Pro Series, this 12-week series, all season long to try to make it into the Drivers' World Championship for next season.
And this list is stacked with talent. We see Kevin King here. We see Nick Ottinger, who most recently won the 2011 NASCAR iRacing Class A season in 2011 Season 3. You have guys going on down the list that did not make the top 25 in last season's NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Names like Jesse Atchison, Jamison Spieth, Joshua Lawton, just to name a few that are in here battling to get back to that series. Landon Castle qualifying challenge winner Jason Loafing is in the race tonight. How about Chad Coleman? Kenneth O'Keefe, one of the youngsters in the race tonight, will also be vying for the win. Michael Conti. The list goes on and on of these drivers that could very well not only win tonight, but win a championship here. The field is just stacked.
Yeah, all these drivers try to qualify all year long. At the start of beginning of Season 1 last year, which started last February, all these drivers have been trying to qualify to make this Pro Series season so they can try to qualify to get into the NASCAR iRacing Drivers' World Championship. And these drivers raced in 3 different quarters, 3 different seasons, and they had to make the top 12 in points just to make it into this series, which is still a qualifier to get into the Drivers' World Championship, NASCAR Drivers' World Championship that starts here in February.
And to go a little bit deeper on that, Nim, and to see how big the competition level is, I look back to just a couple of weeks ago to the conclusion of 2011 Season 3. Del Mears, who will be in car number 20 tonight, he was having to qualify in to get those final couple of extra points on the last night of the season. It came down to the last race at Talladega to get in to this season, and he had to pass a bunch of guys. He had to win the race that he was in to get in to this Pro Series. The nail biting is done. Del Mears is here. Justin Thompson was the other driver as well that really had to get into that last race of the season to get in, and Justin Thompson will be driving car number 40. He is also in the race this evening, and Justin Thompson will look to dig from the 32nd position. Del Mears will also look to come to the front of the field this evening. Del Mears tonight will start from 30th place position. So many drivers to talk about. Jim Caudell Jr. is here. He was very strong in Season 1. And we also have Kevin King, the surprise winner from the Phoenix International Raceway just about a month ago in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
Yeah, no doubt Kevin will be a contender this season. And one thing, what the goal is for these drivers here, they need to make it into the top 25 in points. So we're going to go 12 weeks, 12 races, and we're going to drop 2. So the worst 2 finishes that these guys will have will get dropped. And for those guys that didn't qualify, they're going to use up those drop weeks already. There's 60 drivers competing and to get in 43 spots. So we have 17 drivers that didn't make it in tonight, and all these drivers will, have to get to the top 25 points, top 25 in points to make it into the NASCAR iRacing Drivers World Championship for 2012. So it's going to be a long 12-week season. It's going to be a lot of competition, very, very tough competition, and that'll make the competition for the Drivers World Championship even more exciting going into next season.
And a lot of big eyes on this series as well, Nim. You look at guys that have already locked themselves into next season. You look at guys that are trying to get into this season or series for next season. I know Brian Schoenberg is out here tonight spotting for Jason Loafing. I saw Jordan Erickson watching this evening. I know there's a bunch of guys that have some eyes, have some interested investment, I guess you can call it, in this race. We also should mention as well that Dale Earnhardt Jr. qualified his way into the Pro Series for 2011 Season 4, not here this evening. You mentioned those drop weeks, Nim. He's going to have to use one of them here tonight in order to make his way into the 2012 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
Yeah, that's right. He had other commitments tonight and could not make this race, and that brings it to 61 drivers who are in the Pro Series that are trying to make this season. So 18 drivers didn't make it tonight, and they are already using the drop week. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be one of the things that you're going to have to look at is your strategy once you're in this race. Do you race to win, or do you race to just get that good finish? Because a lot of these drivers are thinking if they can just finish towards the top half of the field in every race, then they might be able to make it. They'll make the top 25 in points. But that's a task in itself, considering this competition. From first to last place, the pole sitter qualified at a 28.163. The last guy who qualified at a 28.5. So only 0.4 of a second from first to 43rd, and that's just that's hardly a blink of an eye.
And we should mention as well, 7 drivers attempted to qualify tonight, Nim, that did not make it in, that occupy the pro license. Justin Lowry, Jason Burstein, Jake Sturgis, Dion Vergers, Greg Spears, Dana Weimer, and Brandon Bookberger. They all attempted to qualify. They did not make the show. And speaking about the show, these drivers are getting ready to grid. We are set to go racing for 167 laps. These guys, the butterflies, begin to fly as they will now head onto the grid at the Texas Motor Speedway, 43 strong, and we will introduce you to the field of drivers that will partake this evening in the first race of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series from the Texas Motor Speedway. On the pole, car number 33 is going to be Kenneth O'Keefe. He put in a time of 28.163. To the outside, the champion from Season 3, number 5, Nick Ottinger.
Starting third will be John Adams in car number 21, and starting next to him, Joshua Lofton, starting for the 4th spot.
Row number 3 sees a 29 of Mitchell Hunt, and to the outside, number 2, Matt Whitten.
For number 4, Jordan Hightower on the inside, and Marcus Lindsay on the outside.
One of the favorites for the championship this season, Robert Hall in the 14, will start in 9th, and to the outside, number 17, Michael Conti.
Last season DWC driver Richie Davidowitz starts 11th, and Juka Savilian starts 12th.
As the cars begin to roll, Jason Loafing will start from 13th, 14th, Chris Henyon.
Kevin King goes 15th, and Cyril Nussbaum goes 16th.
Landon Harrison rolls off in 17th, 18th belongs to Jim Caudell Jr.
Alex Warren 19th, Patrick Baldwin 20th.
21st belongs to Chad Coleman in 27th, 35 is Josh Connors.
23rd, Harrison Whitelitz, and Daniel Pope II will start next to him in 24th.
25th and 26th see Jeremy Thornton and Jamison Spees.
Matt Centel 27th, Andrew Fash III 28th.
Chris Oberlin starts in at 29th and completing your top 30, the number 20 at Del Mears.
Jesse Atchison and Justin Thompson round out the 31st and 32nd spot.
33rd belongs to Harrison Donovan and Stephen Gilbert, 34th.
Carson McClellan goes 35th, and Matthew Moose 36th.
Kevin Bulahasa starts in 37th, 38th, PJ Sturgis.
Justin Tremblay will go 39th, Vinny Sansone 40th.
Roland Enstrom, Chase Paduno, and Michael J. Johnson complete your field of drivers, 43 cars strong, getting ready for the first green flag of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. The road to the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship begins right here. Pace car is in, a green flag flies, Kenneth O'Keefe puts the hammer down, and we are underway.
Yeah, Kenneth is quick on the throttle. He gets away by about 4 car lengths over Nick Ottinger going down the corner number 1. That gets the first 4 spots spread out pretty good. They're still side by side back in there in the 5th position. That's the 29 of Mitchell Hunt and Matt Whitten. Oh, and Hunt's out of control in the back stretch.
Mayday, Mitchell Hunt around in front of the field. Landon Harrison barely squeaks by. Caution flag will fly, and we're going to stack up a couple of other cars as they try to go past, trying to get a number on that spinning car. That's PJ Sturgis in the number 36 going around as well, or check that number 4 going around to avoid the incident. Caution flag flies on lap number 1.
Yeah, it looked like just going down the back straightaway that Hunt got over a little bit onto the car to his right, and he just, you know, got him out of control and into the wall. Very hard, heavy damage on the front end of that car, and that's definitely not a way to start your Pro Series.
Mitchell Hunt, a member of the Gale Force Sim Racing team, sponsored by Gale Force Suspension, and he told me before we came on air this evening, Nim, that he's called the Libra. You look at the paint scheme, it's supposed to be a leopard and a zebra mixed in together. Looks pretty good from this vantage point, but it's a little bit crumpled up right now.
Yeah, it's not a bad looking car. It's just maybe nerves got to him a little bit right there. I know Mitchell's a great driver, and you know, just made a little bit of a mistake right there. It cost him a lot. Who was that? That was PJ Sturgis in the number 4 car, the red car, that got a little bit of piece of that. He might have got away with it without any trouble. And also Landon Harrison got a real close call going through there. But, you know, pretty good job of these drivers getting through that wreck there, Tim, because it was right up the front of the field, and everybody seemed to get through it pretty good.
And a lot of these guys know they're seasoned veterans of the iRacing service. You can't win this race on lap number 1. You'll see a lot of these guys that start at mid-pack to the back of the field just bide their time, let the incidents happen in front of them, and pick their positions off. It's 167 laps. It's still a long way to go in this race. Kenneth O'Keefe, though, got a very good jump on that start. He leads over Nick Ottinger, John Adams, Joshua Lawton back there in 4th, and Matt Whitten completes your top 5. So these drivers right now under caution, taking a little bit of a breather. The butterflies were flying when they were on the grid. Maybe this will be the opportunity for them to get settled down and maybe get some green flag racing in.
Yeah, no doubt. We got a long way to go. 167 lap race. We're only on lap 3, so 164 laps to go. And there's still obviously a long way. We hardly got the race started yet. But heavy damage to Mitchell Hunt, and he's going to have to work on that car to see if he can stay in the race.
Should get 1 lap to go here this time by. A lot of drivers in the front of the field had the opportunity to race their way in through the first 3 seasons. I talked to John Adams before we came on the air this evening, and he was one of those drivers that waited for season 3. Of course, iRacing 2.0 started rolling out NIM, the brand new tire model, really rejuvenated some of these drivers. John Adams included in that. He made his way into this Pro Series through last season's Class A division. He loves this new tire model. He's been testing the tires, he's been testing the setups, and he loves what he's running right now, and it's showing right now. Hard work paying off so far, P3.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Him and his whole team, they all work hard, and they spend a lot of hours testing all week long to work on these setups and get a good feel for the car, and so far their hard work's been paying off.
Next time by, we will go back to green flag racing. We will have 4 laps completed of the 167 to run this evening. As the field is doubled up, the pace car will pull off this time. Every driver that did start the race is still on the racetrack at this point. Every point very, very key. With those 2 drop weeks, there's not a whole lot of room for error, especially if you have to qualify your way into this race each week. 43 spots, 61 drivers. You could very well miss this field by a couple of thousandths of seconds and may have to use one of those drop weeks. Take care of everything that you have when you get into one of these races. Pace car going to duck off here. Kenneth O'Keefe going to be in charge of the field again. And here comes the green flag. We are back underway.
Yeah, guys getting a little bit bunched up back there in the field, but everybody looks to be okay. Kenneth O'Keefe gets a good start again, followed by Nick Ottinger. John Adams will move into that 3rd spot, and then we got a side-by-side battle with Lofton and Matt Whitten for that 4th position.
Matt Whitten will slide into that position. Here comes the 36 of Jordan Hightower. The 17 going to come through as well. Michael Conti going to make up a position. Here comes Richie Davidowitz and Lawton. Oh, contact made. Boy, oh boy, they came close at a 4.
Yeah, that turn 4 can get real tight coming off that corner. The banking here at Texas kind of falls away pretty quick. And if you're not just right, you can get caught out a little bit and sent to the outside wall. Especially coming off the corner number 2 here. You got to keep it down to the bottom and drive off the corner, you know, to get the maximum speed off the corner. If you're up high, it's very difficult to get a good exit down the back straightaway.
Just in front of this battle, it looks like Mike Conti has made a position on the 36 of Jordan Hightower. Hightower falling back to position number 6. Now here comes Josh Lawton in the 9 to the inside, looking for that position on Jordan Hightower, side by side for position number 6. Big wiggle from Hightower. Here comes Davidowitz. Here comes car number 14 as well. 14 driven by Robert Hall. Hall to the inside now with a 36.
Yeah, now looking right behind him, Marcus Lindsay is going to be looking underneath Hightower coming up on number 4 here, and he's going to be hung out. The high side is very difficult here, and you can burn your tires up here on the outside too. So if you run too hard, you know, you're going to burn your tires up outside too. Hightower right now is looking for a hole just to try to get back down to that inside groove.
Kevin King makes the pass. Here comes J-Lo. Jason Loafing, number 24 to the inside as well, trying to pick up a spot on Jordan Hightower. 23 of Chris Henyon also here, but Hightower going to find a spot in line behind the number 24. So the JDR Graphics Chevrolet Impala riding behind the main performance PC Jason Loafing car, and right now that Jordan Hightower machine is back to 12th after being up in 5th when the green flag flew on this run.
Yeah, there's no doubt. If you get out of the group here, you're going to lose a lot of spots. A lot of really, really good drivers in this race, and Henyon was kind enough to let Hightower back in line there. We heard him call the spotter on the radio and get that car back in line, but Henyon was gifted Hightower that spot back in line there.
And just behind this battle, creeping into the picture, is Jim Caudell Jr. in the number 15. Caudell is one of the favorites to vie for the championship this season. Car number 15 looks over Chris Henyon in the number 23, looking for position as the caution flag will fly for the second time this evening.
Looks like Roland Enstrom's in trouble on the front straightaway. We'll have to see what happened to him.
Looks like coming through the dog leg, Nim, the number 25 and the number 20 get together, and that's Del Mears, and we talked about him having to come through the final couple of races to qualify. Mears gets into the wall and down into Enstrom. Enstrom, just an innocent bystander in this one, and I believe he may have taken the 19 along with him when he was going for a spin, Carson McClellan. And Carson had problems earlier today, Nim. You want to talk about hardware issues? He had a computer virus in his machine. They got it clear for race time, but Carson McClellan now has some more problems on the racetrack.
It could take a lot of work, obviously, to get that cleared up. Just to let everybody know, this is the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, and we talk about computer problems and viruses because all these drivers are racing from their home PCs and the comforts of their own home, and they're taking part in a competition with people from all around the world. Roland Enstrom from Europe, and a number of these guys from the U.S., but they're racing each other from all around the world, utilizing the iRacing.com simulation, and they're in competition here in an actual NASCAR sanctioned race, and these guys are trying to qualify for the NASCAR iRacing.com Drivers World Championship that starts up in February. If you're interested in finding out more about iRacing, just visit www.iracing.com. Right now we got buy 1 month, get 2 free. So for the price of 1 month, you get 3 total, and you can come in and check it out and join us here at iRacing and all the racing.
Your top 5 look like this, and you want to talk about an international field, Nim. Kenneth O'Keefe leading the field. He is from Ontario, Canada. Nick Ottinger in second. Matt Whitten in third. Michael Conti in fourth. And John Adams completes your top 5. And I know you mentioned some international flair to the race. Jukka Savolainen from Finland, car number 34. He's running in mid-pack right now in 21st place. So some drivers with some international flair trying to come through the field. Number 28 as well, Cyril Nussbaum, hailing from France. He's just a little bit further up in the running order right now in 15th place. These drivers looking for pit stops, I don't think they're going to be looking right now, Nim. It all depends with the way the cautions fall. I was talking to a couple of teams earlier. They said you can do this race on 2 pit stops, about 55 laps for the first, then go 55 laps for the second, and then cross your fingers and hope you make it on fuel mileage the rest of the way. I don't know if we're going to see many teams do that. It's just a matter of how the cautions fly here. You might see some guys come on pit road, at least the top guys in this field. If we get a caution around lap number 25 to 30, you might see them duck on pit road then.
Yeah, this track is really challenging though. Like we talked about, the exits off of these corners and how the bottom groove is just such the fastest way to be around. It's really challenging, and although these drivers are great and they'll do a good job, you'll have incidents like we saw the first two where it really was just a racing type accidents where somebody made a mistake and had an incident, and we'll probably see some more going on. So, these drivers will get some caution laps, and they probably will only make 2 pit stops because track position means so much here. They're not going to want to pit until they have those tires worn out, and they're probably not going to pit until they at least get 30 laps or so on these tires.
So next time by, we go racing the Diablo Skins Kenneth O'Keefe machine, number 33 this evening, looking to pick up the win and looking to lead the most laps. He's doing good so far up in front of the field. The Xlander Designs Gale Force suspension number 5 to the outside of Nick Ottinger in second place, looking to take away the win and continue his momentum from the 2011 Season 3 Class A Championship. And you want to talk about drivers who really keep going, keep the momentum going. Nick Ottinger, Nim, 3-time consecutive and defending street stock champion on the service. He not only does the Class A, he does the short track stuff as well. Pace car in, Kenneth O'Keefe puts the hammer down. We're back underway.
Yeah, Kenneth got a real good start there. Nick Ottinger spun the tires a little bit coming to the start-finish line, and that'll allow Matt Witten to get down to the inside. Witten will challenge for that second position.
And here comes the 17 car. Does the 17 of Mike Conti try to get on the inside of the 5? No, he does not. 5 goes into position number 3. Now he hunts the number 2 of Matt Witten for position number 2. Meanwhile, back about 7th place, 14 hung up on the high side. That's Robert Hall, and the freight train coming through on the inside.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cars lined up behind him, and it's really tough starting on the outside. Coming down here is Chris Hennigan. Makes a move back there, just a couple of spots behind him. Gets up the track just a little bit into the 15 car, Jim Caudill Jr., but they're able to keep it going. Everybody's pretty safe.
Here comes J-Lo to the inside. Jason Loafing going to pick up a position on the 14. Here comes the 15 of Jim Caudill Jr. going to pick up a position on Robert Hall. And Chris Hennigan slides that race car. Oh, Kevin King around in front of the field. Caution flies and a big wreck on the front straightaway. Kevin King involved in this one.
Yeah, the 6 car really, really in trouble on the front straightaway. They're right in front of the whole field.
This is going to take out at least a dozen cars of this race. If it doesn't take them out, they're going to be severely damaged. And the 6 comes down off the wall into Jordan Hightower. Jason Loafing there. Robert Hall nowhere to go. The 32 of Daniel Pope. The 10 of Jamison Spieth is here as well. Gets involved in this one. I see Josh Connors going through the infield. Oh, Jesse Atchison, the platypus, T-bones a 6 as he comes back down across the racetrack. Tough break for a lot of these guys, and Kevin King reporting a hardware problem. His screen video card may have had an issue coming out of corner number 4. So Kevin King, he can console maybe in Carson McClellan after Carson had those problems earlier today. Tough break for a lot of those guys running up in front.
Yeah, it looked like he washed out coming off of 4, and yeah, it's kind of very unusual for Kevin to slow down that much and turn down the traffic. So there must have been some kind of issue going on there. It's not. He has a lot of experience, and that would be very unusual for him to do if he was in full control of his car.
So there are going to be a lot of favorites in this race that are already out of the event 17 laps into the race. After that incident, I would say Jesse Atchison and Kevin King are at least done after that hard impact into the dog leg. We're going to look at some more replays of this, Nim. A lot of heavy hitters coming into this Pro Series may have to use their drop week on week number 1.
Some of the other drivers involved in that, Kevin Bahulasa and Daniel Pope the second got a big piece of that. Josh Connors.
So while we have the opportunity, let's take a quick break. Let's step away from the action for just a few moments' time. We'll be back here on PSR TV with some more green flag racing from the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Don't go away. Welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. We are getting ready to go back to green flag racing after a big wreck on the front straightaway took out some favorites, including Kevin King, Jesse Atchison, and Robert Hall is now scored as one lap down. He is still in the pit getting repairs to his race car. Kenneth O'Keefe is your leader. Matt Whitten in second. Nick Ottinger in third. Mike Conti and John Adams complete your top five. Pace car will duck off here, and the field will be left in charge of Kenneth O'Keefe. Green flag set to fly. 19 laps will be completed here, and we are back underway. Spin of the tires by Kenneth O'Keefe. He gets away with it, though.
Yeah, the two-car Matt Whitten will fall down in the second spot. The battle right now is for third spot. Nick Ottinger on the inside. Michael Conti up on the outside. Conti gets a pretty good run up there on the outside, but he needs to find that spot back in line so he doesn't get freight trained. Looking to the inside is John Adams on the back straightaway.
John Adams pokes the nose on the inside of Mike Conti in the 17, side by side for position. JDR Graphics on the inside, Xlander Designs on the outside. Oh, contact! John Adams around. Big flight for Adams, and we're going to stack up a lot more cars in the front straightaway.
Yeah, these guys are just, they're getting a little over rambunctious here. Those two guys side by side didn't need to have that wreck, and the 21 car down the inside may have slid up into the outside car a little bit and got him up into the wall.
And a wreck reminiscent to Pedro Mojica's wreck, and I believe it was the last race or the second last race of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, where he gets contacted and a hard hit. He gets airborne, does a couple of pirouettes in the JDR Graphics car, and big damage for the number 21. I know he's got gale force suspension on that race car, and he might need some suspension work on that car following this race. Some drivers involved in this NIM include Josh Connors in the number 35, the 27 when sliding through the grass, and Chad Coleman, the 13 of Justin Trombley, also gets a piece of this, as does Matt Sentel in the number 37 car. I see the 43 of Harrison Weidelitz went for a spin, as did Jim Caudell Jr. So we're going to have at least another 8 or so cars that have some sort of damage after this one. It's just a matter of how many get that damage repaired and get back out on the racetrack.
No doubt, there was a lot of cars damaged in this one. I'm just trying to look back at the incident, and to me it looks like the 21 car got up a little high, and had some side-by-side contact with the other car, and that caused it. But yeah, like I said too, it's so tough racing off of the corners here. It gets so tight, the banking falls away real quick, and that can make the outside car kind of drift out to the right a little bit, and makes both cars drift out to the right. But it's really hard racing side by side off of these corners.
Seems like the best place to be right now is up in front, and by up front, I mean about the first 4 positions, because they really haven't changed all night long. Everybody behind has pretty much been musical chairs, with some of the drivers getting involved in some incidents. Kenneth O'Keefe, Matt Whitten, Nick Ottinger, and Josh Lawton are your top 4 right now. They have pretty much been solidly in the top 5 all night long. Then you have guys starting to come up through the field. Richie Davidowitz in a 5th, Marcus Lindsay in 6th, Justin Thompson in 7th. Justin Thompson was one of those drivers that barely squeaked into this series, had to run the last race of Season 3 at Talladega to lock himself in. He sits in 7th. 8th is Jukka Savalainen in the number 34, PJ Sturgis, and Jeremy Thornton complete your top 10. And how about in 11th place? Give a call out to Andrew Fayash III. We documented his run. Nim barely missed out in the top 25 in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. It came down to Homestead, and some bad luck bit that team at the wrong time. Fayash, I'm sure, likes his chances in this series. Right now up in position number 11. He has to be one of the favorites to not only take away a top 25 spot, but possibly get in the top 10, maybe vie for this championship.
Yeah, he's going to have to work hard to get back. But Nick's he's experienced over this, and Andrew is experienced, and he'll be able to, he's got a lot of experience running with all these cars in this type of environment under this pressure. So, he should do a good job and be able to get back in that top 25 in points to compete in NASCAR iRacing Drivers World Championship for next season.
Field begins to double up. Next time by, we will go back to green flag racing, and it might be back there some of those drivers trying to salvage some points in this race after being damaged. We touched on it in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship season. Points, very critical. They're very critical here when you're battling for a top 25 spot. Any position that you can get, very key. So these drivers want to stay out on the racetrack for as long as they can. Maybe hope for a couple of more wrecks to knock some drivers out of the race.
Well, it looks like the way it's going, that's definitely a possibility. A lot of wrecks so far, a lot of drivers taken out, not by their own doing. It's just a lot of these incidents happen way up front of the field and in tight spots. Going through on that front straightaway, you got some spinning cars spinning all over the dogleg, and it's hard to miss. A lot of pressure on some of these guys, and they're just trying hard. And, the guys who are patient and a little bit lucky are going to be the guys who have a good finish tonight.
Looks like Jim Caudell Jr. is done for the evening. He has disconnected from the race server as the pace car begins to make its way onto pit road. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car off the racetrack. Green flag flies, and Kenneth O'Keefe, great start. Here comes the 5 of Ottinger. Ottinger up to second.
Yep, Ottinger second, and Matt Whitten falls in line in the 3rd spot. Everybody seems to be getting in line in about the top 10 positions. Battle back there for the 34 is up on the outside. That's Jukka Savalainen, and he's back at about the 10th spot right now.
The 1 of Marcus Lindsay falls into line just in front of that battle. The 1 of Lindsay looking over the 8 of Richie Davidowitz, trying to hold off the 40 of Justin Thompson as you ride on the roof of Marcus Lindsay, looking up at the top 6.
Everybody's single file and sorted out. Maybe they've learned their lessons over the last few green flag laps, and they're trying to just get sorted out and get some laps in here. We've only completed 26 laps of 167, so a long, long way to go yet, about 142 laps to go. So, these guys, the race hasn't even hardly started yet. A lot of cars are out of the race, and we only got about 32 cars on the lead lap right now. So, I think the guys that are still in it are saying, hey, we got to get some laps in here before we start throwing our cars away.
Car number 43 trying to make up a position, Harrison Weidelitz, and the 34 up on the high side, the 43 of Harrison Weidelitz. new sponsor on that race car for this pro season. Very excited to bring on the NATCA, the National Air Traffic Control Association. Very excited for him and Kirk Hapke to come on board this season for the 43. As you look back from Vinny Sansone, the battle behind him.
The 20 car of Del Mir is looking underneath the 34 car right now of Savalainen, and he's looking down the front straightaway trying to pick up that 19th position.
Del Mir's looking to pick up that spot, as you mentioned, Nim. Right behind him, Jason Loafing, Landon Harrison, and Jordan Hightower. Hightower was running up in the top 5 when he got a little bit of help going around from Kevin King, so Hightower trying to pick up some slack as he follows Landon Harrison through, trying to get underneath the 34.
Looks like everybody's falling back in the single file here, trying to get sorted out, trying to get some laps in again. You know, one thing we're going to start thinking about, Tim, is pit stops. We haven't run many green flag laps yet, but we are on lap 30. So that probably would have extended their pit stop window from about 55, maybe up to 60, 65 laps. So probably about halfway through the stint right now. We're going to start thinking about pit stops and what these guys are going to do. If they have another caution here in a few laps, they'll probably make pit stops under caution.
Riding on board with Landon Harrison in the number 39, the JDR Graphics. Number 39 as he looks up at Savalainen, Jason Loafing, and Del Mears as he runs in position number 22. Coming up out of corner number 4, he will complete lap 31 this time by.
Remember that what these guys want to do is they want to finish in the top 25 in points, maybe a little bit higher, so they can try to cushion their way into the points for the next races and things like that. As we had the 36 car of Jordan Hightower looking underneath the 39 car going down the back straightaway, but he's not able to make it happen there. But everybody just trying to get in the top 25 in points, and with all the wrecks we had a lot earlier, you know, a lot of these drivers are, you know, finding themselves in there and feeling a bit more comfortable and willing to put in these laps.
You look back to Jordan Hightower in car number 36. JD Laird's got to be smiling now, side by side, the two JDR Graphics cars. Hightower moves underneath Harrison and takes the position away off corner number 2.
That'll move Hightower up into the 22nd position. And now on the back of Harrison, we got the 16 car of Alex Warren. Warren will be looking to challenge for that position.
Warren looking to pick up that spot and move up just a little bit. Right behind him, we have the number 30 of Chase Produno as he tries to pick up a couple of spots as well. 4-car battle for position and a lot of battles throughout this field. But right now, Nim, I believe you mentioned it, trying to log some laps and get to that pit stop window.
Yeah, like I said, there's still such a long way to go. The race has hardly started. You know, we've taken out a bunch of cars already through some mistakes and some accidents. And, you know, these guys just need to put in some laps now. And a lot of them, because of those accidents, find themselves in a pretty favorable spot. So, you know, they're doing their best just to ride around now and take hold of those positions and try to keep them. Now, there are still definitely some drivers in here running about the 31st, 32nd, 33rd position. Those drivers still can make their way into the top 25, and they're going to want to race hard. But right now, it's not the time for it. They need to put in some laps, get through this next pit cycle, and see where they wind up.
How about the number 3 of Matthew Moose running in position number 14? Matthew was one of those drivers like Andrew Fayash who barely missed the top 25, and believe it or not, Fayash running right in front of Moose. Side by side now, here comes Stephen Gilbert to the inside of Matthew Moose for position. Car number 42 going to try to pick up a spot here, and here comes Harrison Donovan. Donovan in the Tax Slayer ride, looking over the Matthew Moose machine for position.
Yeah, all 3 of these drivers very experienced NASCAR Racing Drivers World Championship competitors, and right now they battled each other all last season, and they're battling each other through this Pro Series, trying to make it in to next season's NASCAR Racing Drivers World Championship Series.
You ride on the roof of Harrison Donovan on the inside of Matthew Moose, trying to pick up the spot. Here comes Harrison Weidelitz as well. Weidelitz looking to pick up a spot. He does move the 43 up to position number 16. So those drivers moving to the front of the field. We keep talking about teams in this series, Nim. Very key. They change setups. They help build those setups and spend a lot of time practicing before the race day. JRM has Jim Caudell Jr. in this race, who has already retired, and Harrison Donovan. They already have a bunch of guys in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. They'd love to add 2 more to the stable for 2012.
Yeah, you need to be at this level of competition. You almost need to be on a pretty good-sized team where guys are exchanging setups and testing different things and sharing information. I don't know of anybody out here that's doing it by themselves, and you know, if they are, we need to talk about them because they're doing a great job. But it takes so much, and just like in the NASCAR, you know, NASCAR series, they have the bigger teams and they can share information, and the more science that they have into their cars, the faster their cars will go. It's the same thing here in the NASCAR iRacing Drivers Pro Series here, where these guys are all helping each other out, and even some of the drivers who are qualified into next season's Drivers World Championship are also, you know, helping out with their teams because they want their teammates to be in that series next season also. So you need to be a part of the team, and you need to really work hard at it with your teammates and put the time into practice as these guys do every week.
Your leader is number 33, Kenneth O'Keefe. He leads by 0.6 of a second over Nick Ottinger. Nick Ottinger closing the gap a little bit on the number 33. Just behind him is Matt Witten. Witten runs in position number 3. Back looks to be position number 4, though. Josh Lawton trying to hold off Marcus Lindsay. Lawton in the number 9 Gale Force Suspension Chevrolet. The number 1 behind him, Marcus Lindsay, closing in on position number 4.
Yeah, Lindsay looking really good right now. He's running that 5th spot. He's about 1.8 seconds behind Kenneth O'Keefe. O'Keefe, that last time by, he ran a 29.341 second lap, and Lindsay ran a 29.32 second lap. So Lindsay and then the 9 car here running very good laps as you look back on him from Lofton's car.
And looking back, you can see Richie Davidowitz creeping into the picture as well. Davidowitz in car number 8, looking at this battle for position number 4 and beginning to lick his chops. He is closing in on the 2 cars in front of him. Lawton and Lindsay battle for position number 4, coming up at a 2 on lap 43.
Yeah, Davidowitz had a pretty rough DWC season last year at the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. He had a pretty rough series in that season and didn't make the top 25 in points. And I don't think he competed in all the races, but he wants to get himself back into that 2012 series and try to compete for that. And right now he's doing a pretty good job running in the top 6 and competing for this win.
1 car just in front of him, looking around that number 9, Josh Lawton. It seems like he wants to pass on the inside, but Lawton not letting him have that inside line at this point as they work through corners number 3 and 4. They'll come up at a 4 and complete the 44th lap, this time by Kenneth O'Keefe. Continues to lead. As you ride on board with Marcus Lindsay, you can see the leader out in front of this field by 0.4 of a second. Nick Ottinger closing in, and it looks like it may be closing in some guys behind him as well. Looks like O'Keefe may be coming up on Mitchell Hunt.
Yeah, some lap traffic out here from these earlier incidents. Mitchell involved in a wreck on lap number 1, having a rough night out there already, but right now he's running in the 32nd spot and able to pick up a number of positions. Mitchell looking for a lot of cars to drop out here tonight so he can pick up some more spots. But right now, Kenneth O'Keefe stretches out that lead just a little bit. He's got about a half a second lead over the 2nd place car of Nick Ottinger right now.
Guys getting strung out at this point, looking to log some laps, and we're coming close to that lap number 55 mark, Nim. With a couple of cautions, it may be just a couple of laps later for that first green flag pit stop of the evening. So we're looking at about 10 laps or so, and we could very well see your leaders on pit road.
Yeah, we did have a lot of caution laps early, so that might extend it out just a little bit. But these drivers, you know, are starting to think about what they're going to do. They're making their notes on the adjustments that they want to make on their pit stop, if any. Probably, if they have a green flag stop here, you know, one of the biggest choices they're going to have to make, Tim, is whether they're going to make 4 tires or 2 tires. I think at some point in this race, you want to change the left side tires, but the question is, when do you do it? Do you do it on your first round of pit stops, or do you do it on the second round of pit stops? And the reason why this is such a hard decision is at some point, when you do this, you're going to give up track position. Do you want to give up that track position early and try to hold on to it late, or do you want to give it up late and have those tires that'll make you a little bit quicker at the end of the race?
Kenneth O'Keefe, your leader in the number 33. The driver hails from Smithville, Ontario, looking to pick up the victory and looking pretty good so far. Nick Ottinger in a second, still 0.6 of a second behind, with Matt Whitten, Josh Lawton, and Marcus Lindsay completing your top 5. Oh, big wiggle from Lawton off corner number 2. I was just about to say Lawton putting some time on Marcus Lindsay, and it looks like he still is putting some time on him as Richie Davidowitz now closes in for 5th, but Lawton with a big wiggle at a 2.
Yeah, you want to make sure you don't heat up those rear tires too much. If you're driving it too loose, that can really, really heat up the rear tires and get you out of shape a little bit. And you're going to have to take a few laps and be easy on them to cool them back down. But right now, still coming off corner number 2, looks pretty good that time by the 1 car of Marcus Lindsay. Right behind him, pushes off the corner a little bit and loses a little bit of time.
And this is about that time where you see some of those guys on the old tires start to slide those race cars around, and that may be what we saw out of Josh Lawton. The fuel load is getting a little bit lighter. The weight's getting a little bit lighter in that race car because of the fuel being burnt off. The tires are sliding around a little bit, so that could very well be what we see. Looking up into second place now, Matt Whitten closing in on Nick Ottinger. Matt Whitten within 0.3 of a second of your second place driver. About 2.5 car lengths separate your second and third place car as we work on lap 52.
Now that we got a bunch of green flag laps in here, we're going to see who's better on the long runs. And it looked like Ottinger's giving up some time to O'Keefe on these longer runs, and Whitten's starting to gain down Ottinger a little bit too. So Ottinger suffers a little bit here on the long run. He's going to have to make some adjustments on that first pit stop to see if he can't pick it up during the longer stints as the race goes on.
Second and third place, Nick Ottinger and Matt Whitten. Whitten closing in on the second place driver, the X-Lander Designs Gale Force suspension number 5, trying to hold on to that position before pit stops do happen in just a few laps. I believe that number 5, as you mentioned, might need a little bit of adjustment on that race car for the long run.
Yeah, he's really starting to drop off now. You know, he's not a second behind yet, but it's noticeable. You know, especially when you have Whitten all over him for that second spot.
Third place, Matt Whitten in the number 2. Adidas on the side of the race car as we start to look back here, I believe, for a battle. And I saw Del Mears back there, the number 12 of Vinny Sansone. Also, the Matthew Moose machine is A-Lap Mitchell Hunt. Jason Loafing is back here in this pack as well. A lot of high-caliber drivers trying to make their way through on this long green flag run. Andrew Fayash looking over the 24.
Chris Hennigan just picked up the 9th position from PJ Sturgis on that last lap. So Hennigan up to 9th, Sturgis back to 10th. Those two guys are about 7 seconds behind your leader right now.
Andrew Fayash the third, Del Mears, Yuka Savalainen, Carson McClellan, Jordan Hightower in this battle. 18 slides up, here comes 20 to the inside, Del Mears looking to pick up a position. That would put him in 19th if he can make this pass.
Yeah, big gaggle of cars here, some of them high, some of them low, but it looks like the 36 car of Jordan Hightower right behind him, he's being held up a little bit, but Del Mears gets away out front there a little bit. The 34 car following him through, and the 19 trying to make up his way right now.
Andrew Fayash continues to fall back. Jordan Hightower in the JDR Graphics, number 36, poking the nose underneath the eye racing today. Number 18, side by side for that position. And it looks like Fayash will have to surrender it to Jordan Hightower as they come up at a corner number 4. We complete lap number 57 here.
Still no sign that any of these guys are getting ready for a pit stop here, but it should be coming close. Probably within the next 10 laps, they're going to be pitting, and when that starts happening, that'll be kind of a risky time because there'll be cars slowing down into the groove. As we see the first car coming to make his pit stop, that's the 7 car heading to pit road. Actually, that's Patrick Baldwin. He's a number of laps down now, so he may have just been heading to pit road to do some more work on that car.
34 car under pressure from the 19. Carson McClellan looking to make a pass on Savalainen. He's got the position, so move McClellan up into the top 20. Savalainen back into 21st. Jordan Hightower looking to pick up the remains of that number 34 car for that position, but it looks like he'll fall back off the bumper of the 34.
Battle for second place up here is Nick Ottinger is getting passed by Matt Witten going corner number 3. Witten will take the spot. Ottinger will give it up. It sounds like Ottinger had a big wiggle coming off corner number 2, and right there Witten has a little bit of a wiggle coming off corner number 4. That allows Ottinger to challenge back on the outside, but he's going to have to fall back in line.
Ottinger trying to go to the outside. Matt Witten using all of the track in the dog leg coming into corner number 1. Ottinger almost gets into the wall. I'm not sure if he did or not, but it came mighty close for Nick Ottinger against that wall at a corner number 2.
Andrew Fash was struggling on those tires out there. We saw just a couple laps ago. It looked like his team is up on the pit wall. There's also Jeremy Thornton's team is up on the pit wall waiting for their drivers to come down pit road.
Some of the mid-pack drivers starting to head to pit road. The 5 of Ottinger falls back into the clutches of the number 9 of Josh Lawton. The 1 of Marcus Lindsay. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Add Richie Davidowitz to the mix as well in position number 6. And I think Nick Ottinger is wanting some new tires on that race car in the Gale Force suspension number 5.
Wholesale pit stop be coming up here shortly. Justin Thompson signals that he's going to pit, and as well as a couple other drivers. Their pit crews getting ready down here on pit road.
Leader is in Kenneth O'Keefe after leading a majority of the first 60 laps of this event. The 33 of Kenneth O'Keefe, the Diablo Schemes number 33, onto pit road, getting service on that race car as he comes in, and I'm corrected, it's Diablo Skins on the number 33, and it's going to be right side tires at least. Will we see 4 tires on this race car? They're packing it full of fuel, and indeed they will. 4 tires for Kenneth O'Keefe.
Yeah, he chooses to take his 4 tires early on in this race, and he'll try to keep track position, which is probably a good deal for his leader, because once you get out front, it's hard to get through that dirty air to make a pass, and we already saw that O'Keefe is very, very strong. So it's take those 4 tires early and try to get back up front.
Matt Witten comes down onto pit road. The 9 car is also on pit road. 9 car of Josh Lawton coming down. The 1 car of Marcus Lindsay almost loses it underneath the 9 coming onto pit road. Oh boy, close call for the number 1 and number 9 cars, Lawton and Lindsay.
Yeah, these guys got a pit road speed limit that they gotta be under, and here tonight I believe it is 45 miles an hour. So if they break that pit road speed limit, they will serve a penalty.
Watching the number 9 of Josh Lawton getting service on his race car. Right side tires going on and left side tires going on as well to the Gale Force suspension. Number 9 down and away, and Marcus Lindsay in the number 1, just a little bit quicker on his pit stop.
Richie Davidowitz, now your race leader. Wholesale pit stops happening here at the Texas Motor Speedway. A number of drivers heading towards pit road right now. We got Michael Johnson, Mike Santel, Yugoslavian, and Michael Johnson heading towards pit road.
Nick Ottinger on pit road. Right side service complete. Left side now going up on the X-Lander number 5 4 tires. Packet full of fuel, boys. And we are waiting for the 5 to leave. Maybe he has a little bit of damage in him from scraping that wall off too.
Yeah, and then, you bounce off the wall. It can do a lot of damage to the suspension of your car.
Yellow flag is out in the middle of green flag pit stops, and the number 30 spins off corner number 4. That's Chase Paduno. The Club Indiana driver rolls down pit road to a stop, and the yellow flag will fly. This will change the game.
Yeah, the 30 car tried to get on pit road pretty hard. He got into a little bit too hot. He hit the inside wall, and that kind of slid out in the outside track there, the racetrack, and that's what brought out the caution. But it's pretty heavy damage to the right front of Chase's car there, and his crew will have to go to work on it. And one thing too that will do is it will mix up his field pretty good. A number of drivers still haven't made their pit stops, like Pope, Donovan, Hennian.
It should shake up the field. The 32 is your leader. That's Daniel Pope the second in the main performance PC number 32. Harrison Donovan in second. Tax Slayer on board that Chevrolet Impala. Chris Hennion in third. PJ Sturgis in fourth. And Harrison Weidlitz. We talked about the new paint job on that race car. He completes your top 5 at this point, with Jason Loafing not too far behind in 6th. Here comes your leader down onto pit road.
Now, a lot of these guys were one lap down and did not pit yet. As we got Hennian in another car making some contact there on pit road as Hennian tries to get some position on the inside there going down pit road. But, a lot of these guys that are a lap down right now, they'll come out in front of these guys who are pitting now, and they'll be able to get their laps back once we go one lap before green here. So a lot of cars will make it back on the lead lap.
Hennion is going to lose a bunch of time on his stop, Nim. He overshot his pit box. He had to back up before he gets service on his race car. And look at all these cars passing him. He's going to be at least 5th place coming off of pit road, if not worse, for Chris Hennion, as he will have some work to do when we go back to green flag racing, looking at the first driver that came off of pit road, and I do believe it was Daniel Pope the second in the number 32. We're going to step away for just a few moments and bring you back to some more green flag racing from the Texas Motor Speedway. The NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series returns after this. Welcome back to the coverage of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. We are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Richie Davidowitz is scored as your leader in car number 8. Daniel Pope II is in second. PJ Sturgis in third. Jason Loafing and Harrison Donovan complete your top 5. The Pit stop malfunction for Chris Henyon after overshooting his box is going to resort him to 7th behind Carson McClellan. Harrison Weidlitz, Vinny Sansone, and Jordan Hightower complete your top 10. And Nim, after that caution came out through green flag pit stops, I believe we had about 15 cars take the wave around on that last caution. 15th place through 30th got their lap back. As they were in front of the leaders, they got the wave around the pace car.
And you know what? Our guys that run out front, and we talked about this all last season in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, is that, you know, during these caution flags, if you could be out front running away all day long, but if something happens to get you back in the pack, that changes everything. And, you know, we saw for a couple of drivers, they couldn't overcome that fact. And now we're going to have to see if Kenneth O'Keefe and Matt Whitten and some of these guys who are running up front can actually, you know, have an issue here where they can make it back through, as Hennion's having a problem on the start.
Green flag flies, the number 8 of Richie Davidowitz, as the yellow flag will fly, as we will slow these guys back down again. Chris Henyon received an end of the longest line penalty from one of the officials. I'm not sure what that was for. I'm sure we can check up on that, but that was the car that was slow coming out of corner number 4, so the caution flag flies again. So that's a tough break for Henyon after running up in the top 10. So it looks like the number 2 of Matt Whitten may also have a penalty to serve as well. Nim, Matt Whitten was running up in the top 3 early in the race, so we'll have to follow up on that. Right now being scored in position number 16 was one of the drivers that did get the wave around on that most recent caution flag. Matt Whitten, like Nick Ottinger, might have to come from the rear of this field to make some time up. Ottinger was too fast on pit road. That's why he had the lengthy stop in the gale force suspension number 5.
Leaders on the back straightaway on lap number 74 out of 167, Tim. It's still a long way to go in this race. We still got another pit stop to make. And like we were talking about before, remember we were talking about a lot during the last NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship season where, you know, you get drivers out front during a whole race and they just look dominant. And then when they get back in pack, you know, all kinds of things happen. You take the air off the nose of the car, and they can't make it back to the front, and usually wind up getting in a little bit of trouble because they really feel they should be back up front and start trying a little bit too hard. You know, a number of drivers come to mind when we think about something like that. But, you know, we're going to have to see how O'Keefe handles this situation. He's back in 14th right now. He dominated the first 60-some laps of this race, and now he's back to 14th. And that's a lot of traffic right in front of him. There's a lot of strong cars. Let's see if he can make it back.
And not only is it Kenneth O'Keefe that has to rally to get back to the front, guys that were in the top 5 early, Marcus Lindsay, Josh Lawton, are running right behind Kenneth in 14th and 15th place respectively. You have Nick Ottinger right now scored in 24th. Matt Whitten scored in 25th place. There's some guys back there that have some work to do, and these guys are tough to pass. The competition's going to get tougher as they come up through the field and try to make those positions up. Daniel Pope II and Richie Davidowitz, 2 drivers from last season in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, had bad luck bite them one way or the other. They were outside the top 25. They have to requalify for that series through the Pro Series. Jason Loafing runs in third, the former Landing Castle Qualifying Challenge winner. He won the first ever edition of the Landing Castle Qualifying Challenge back in December of 2010. He runs in third, and PJ Sturgis, a multi-talented racer, not only on the oval side, but also on the road side as well. PJ Sturgis runs in position number 4, and he's got to be one of those candidates to look for to be in the top 25 at the end of the season.
Yeah, Sturgis is definitely one of the more versatile drivers on the service, and probably one of the best drivers on the service, doing double duty in the Oval Series and Road Series. Very fast wherever he competes, and should be a real challenger come this Pro Series. And it would be pretty shocking that if he didn't make it through to the Drivers' World Championship for 2012. But I don't think he qualified very good for this race, and it could be a tough thing for him, if he's not going to qualify well, to try to make it in. He qualified 38th for this race, and that's not very far from that bubble.
And you look at guys that occupied both licenses in the Road Drivers' World Championship and the Oval Drivers' World Championship. Names that come to mind: Richard Towler, Derek Wood, Ray Alfala. There's just so many guys that are multi-talented, but only just a few that occupy both licenses. We could very well be adding PJ Sturgis to that list by the end of this Oval Pro Series. So watch for the 4. He's had a strong run so far. The second half of the race is coming up. Can PJ Sturgis close the deal here at the Texas Motor Speedway? He will restart from position number 4. Pace car will duck in this time by and leave the field in control of Richie Davidowitz and Daniel Pope II. Pace car is in, green flag flies.
Top 3 spots are drivers from last season's NASCAR Racing Series Drivers World Championship, and they have the top 3 spots right now with PJ Sturgis, Harrison Donovan, and Carson McClellan right behind them.
Down the back straightaway we go as drivers get single file. Sturgis and Loafing going to dance for position number 3. Loafing in the 24 trying to hold off Sturgis. In the 4 car is Harrison Donovan trying to hold off Carson McClellan. Behind him, the 19 car. We saw him sliding through the infield earlier.
Yeah, he's making a good comeback, and he's got himself up in a pretty good position right now. There's green flag stops, and him staying out helped him out. And none of these drivers, the top 10 drivers or so in this race, are drivers who got these positions by staying out on those old tires during that last green flag run there, and then didn't make a green flag pit stop. We'll see if they're strong enough to keep those front positions now.
Saw a big slide back there from Jeremy Thornton in the 41. He maintains control of that race car, and we have a battle for 3rd and 4th heating up. Jay Lowe trying to hold off PJ Sturgis. Right behind them, Harrison Donovan and Carson McClellan. 4-car battle for position number 3.
Yeah, everybody's single file right now. It looks like the 4-car wiggling just a little bit going through corner number 4 there, but he's able to keep his momentum down the front straightaway, although it looks like Harrison Donovan's right there, but not able to make a challenge down the front stretch.
This time by, we will have 80 laps completed of the 167 that is to be run this evening. 4-car battle you see on your screen for positions 3, 4, 5, and 6. As you ride on board with PJ Sturgis looking up at the main performance PC. Number 24 of Jason Loafing under fire from Harrison Donovan. Here comes the 38 on the inside.
Yeah, Donovan very good in the center of the corner. That's where he was beating PJ through 3 and 4 the last time by. And now the 19 car of Carson McClellan is going to try to look underneath of the 4-car coming off corner number 2 on the back straightaway. The 4-car throws a block and doesn't want him to get that position this time.
4-car slammed the door on Carson McClellan, and Carson almost opened the door again on the 4 of PJ Sturgis. They get squared away. 4 ahead of the 19 now by a car length. The 19 of Carson McClellan has to reset and try to get that position back. That is for 5th and 6th place as we work in corner number 2 on lap 82.
Kenneth O'Keefe started this race, this last start, back about the 13th or 14th position. He got his way back up to 11th and fell back a few more spots. And now he's trying to work his way by Chad Coleman, but up to the 12th spot.
Caution flag will fly here. We'll slow down the field. 37 involved, as Matt Santel has some heavy smoke rolling from that race car. I did see one more car down there. He did have some help going around in a big hit afterwards, and it looks like Chris Henyon may be involved in this one.
Yeah, Henyon had a little bit of an issue with the 37 car on one of those previous caution flags, where he didn't think that the 37 slowed up as much, and it looked like Santel may have blocked a little bit going down the back straightaway, and I don't think Henyon appreciated that too much. Sent the 37 car around.
And Alex Warren in the number 16 trying to avoid the wreck. He was on the apron, and the 37 came down the racetrack trying to get out of oncoming traffic, and the 16 gets involved and gets sent for a ride. Alex Warren also involved in this one, and that may very well end the night for Warren in the number 16. So it looks like a 3-car incident here, going to bring out the caution flag as we work on lap number 83. Top 3, looking back here, actually, it looks like your top 6 drivers from the Pro Series. Your first driver that was in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship last year, named Jordan Hightower, runs in position number 7. That's the 36 JDR graphics machine. And Hightower, you can remember back to the start of the race, was one of those drivers that was running up in front, encountered some problems, had a little bit of damage from that run-in with Kevin King, but methodically making his way back up through the field. Hightower sits in 7th right now and looking for just a little bit more.
Yep, he'll be definitely a contender to be in that top 25 in points for next season. He was in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship last year, and has to work his way back into the series again through this Pro Series for next season. But he'll be definitely a strong runner.
Halfway mark being reached here, 84 laps completed of the 167 to run this evening as we run under the caution flag. Some other drivers that are looking to make their way up that did not qualify through the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship in 2011. Vinny Sansone runs in 10th. Josh Lawton runs in 11th. Chad Coleman, who is sponsored this season by Derek Spear Designs, runs in 13th place. Stephen Gilbert 14th. Looking back here, it looks like Andrew Fayash III is in 19th. Justin Trombley just outside in 21st as well. So that's out of your drivers that did not qualify through last season's NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Those are the drivers that I just mentioned that comprise the top 21 that were outside the top 25.
Kenneth Keith, who dominated the first half of this race, right now being scored in the 12th spot. And so he's going to have to work his way back up. And that number 33 car, who, he dominated about the first 70 laps or so. So right now running in 12th, we'll have to keep an eye on him. Joshua Lofton was up there fighting with him through that first half of the field. He finds himself right in front of O'Keefe. So right now he may have positional in O'Keefe to try to make it back up in front. But like I said earlier, these guys who are in the top 10, they were running throughout the field earlier, but back mid-pack or so, and now up in front. We'll see if O'Keefe can make his way back up through them.
Here's a question for you, Nim. I know you do a lot more racing on the service than I do. We're looking at about 125, 130 by my calculation for the final pit stop. We went about 60 or so laps on the first run to pit road. If you're Kenneth O'Keefe, you were leading this race early, you're sitting in position number 12. We're looking at about lap 120 for a pit stop, lap 125. Do you try to push it now in the next 30 to 35 laps to get that lead back, or you just try to methodically pick off the positions and try to get as close to the front as you can when pit stops happen?
Well, I think what you're going to do, my strategy would be, I would try to pit about halfway between now and the end of the race. And I think O'Keefe, since he took 4 tires, he's only going to take 2 tires, so it's going to be a pretty quick pit stop. But I would try to take, as many spots as I could safely at this point, and then, try to pick up a couple more safely at the end. One thing you got to think about in this race is you want a good finish. The goal isn't so much this race, it's, the top 25 in points as we go back to green. But right now, you want to get that good finish, and O'Keefe is still in a good spot to get a good finish.
Top 3 single file quickly. Here comes the 4 car. PJ Sturgis going to take the position over Harrison Donovan. 36 going to poke the nose underneath the tax slayer number 38. Hightower looking at the 38 for position number 6 as we go down to the corner. Here comes Carson McClellan. McClellan, the 1 of Marcus Lindsay there as well as they battle for position.
Yeah, everybody getting sorted out right now as we got O'Keefe looking to the inside of the 12 car, and the 12 car comes down, but O'Keefe wants that spot, and the 12 car backs out of it. That's Vinny Sansone. Vinny Sansone, a very experienced driver. Oh, the 20 car is spinning. Del Mears is in trouble down the front straightaway. And up to turn 2.
Yuka Savalainen also gets a piece of the wall as well. The 3 is pointed the wrong way. Matthew Moose, as is Landon Harrison. If they keep them backwards, they might be able to do a race in reverse. Caution flag flies, and we're going to have a multi-car incident. I believe it may have started up there. Oh, the 5 of Ottinger. Heavy damage to Ottinger's car after running up front early.
Yeah, heavy favor. Ottinger has got serious damage to that car, and he may be out for the rest of the race, head on into the wall. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get that fixed or not, but a number of good cars involved in that one, as it looked like Mears got up into a car on his outside going through corner number 1, maybe gotten in the corner just a little bit too hard. He was really close to the 18 car right in front of him and probably lost a little bit of downforce in that car, slid up the track and got sideways and took out a bunch of cars behind him.
And it looks like a little bit of connection issue with the number 5 of Nick Ottinger going through that wreck as well. Just as the 20 car goes for that little bit of a spin, the 5 car disappears, and when the 5 car reappears, he's in with the 20. The 20 and the 5 goes straight into the wall at a corner number 2. So an unfortunate series of events for Ottinger. The 31 of Chris Overland also involved. The 40 car of Justin Thompson, I believe that is there as well, also involved. And it's ironic, the 40 and the 20 involved in that wreck. Those were the 2 drivers that had to fight their way in through 2011 Season 3, that final race at Talladega, to get themselves into this Pro Series. They get involved in a wreck.
Yeah, anything can happen, and anybody who's in this series has a legitimate shot at the top 25. So even you guys who didn't make the race and are watching us on PSR TV right now, you still got a chance. So don't give up. Get in these races, be smart about it, get a good finish, and you have a good shot at the top 25. You got one of those 2 drop weeks, 10 weeks to go, so the competition, anything can happen. Even though some of those guys who made the race tonight aren't going away with a lot of points, so you still got a chance.
And you want to talk about guys that are watching out there on PSR TV or on iRacing.com. They want to get involved in this, NIM. This series is not out of reach for somebody that really puts their mind to it, really puts a lot of practice and puts a lot of effort into their time on iRacing. This series is not out of reach. You sign up now. Christmas is coming. Would make a great Christmas gift. You can always get in and make this series for next year. If you try hard, you could be in this Pro Series in 2012 trying to get into 2013.
Oh, no doubt. And the way to start that is to go to iRacing.com, and you can buy 1 month and get 2 more for free. So 3 total months, and that'll definitely give you a good enough time to try it out and see if you like it, and to get involved and to get hooked. And then you'll meet friends on here. You guys will form your own team, and you start working on setups and make your trek to the Class A Series, the NASCAR-iRacing.com A Series, which drives the Impala Sprint Cup cars, and then then you're on your way. And you got all year next year, the first 3 seasons. That'll take you up till October next year to try to make this series, and then you race this series the 3rd quarter of next year, and that'll get you ready for the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So go on over to iRacing.com and sign up for that special offer right now. Buy 1 month, get 2 more for free, and come on over and race here at iRacing.
So Richie Davidowitz leads, Daniel Pope the second in 2, Jason Loafing third, PJ Sturgis in fourth, and Jordan Hightower complete your top 5. We should have lights off here. Double file, we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing with the 8 car and 32 side by side. Jason Loafing, PJ Sturgis, and Jordan Hightower top 5. Harrison Donovan, Carson McClellan, Marcus Lindsay, Joshua Lawton, check that, and Harrison Weidlitz are your top 10. We anticipate the pace car to come down pit road this time by. And we will be back to green flag racing here. Second half of the race. These guys are setting up for at least one more pit stop here, Nim. This is where the action begins to pick up.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's lap 92 of 167. So we still got about 76 or 77 laps to go from here. And, so still a decent way to go. We definitely got that one pit stop to go. If we get a caution flag from this point forward, maybe in about 5 or 10 laps or so, I think you're going to see people pit as we go back to green. I think you're going to see people pit because then they'll be able to make it the rest of the distance. So any caution flag from here on out may change up the strategies.
8 and 32 get away clean. The battle is for third. Sturgis, great run on the outside. Sturgis into position number 3. Loafing back to 4th. Jordan Hightower up to 5th. Close call for 6th. The number 19 on the high side of Carson McClellan. Lawton trying to make his way through. And it looks like just behind them, Harrison Donovan may have had a close call with Kenneth O'Keefe.
Yeah, McClellan goes way up the track as he tried to get in there a little bit too hard. You saw him going through 3 and 4 there. He tried to force down a little bit, and he is a pro driver because he tried to squeeze down, and then at the last moment where he saw that the other driver wasn't going to give out, he was able to back out of it and give up the spot and not cause a crash. But he did lose a couple spots, but he's back in line now.
33 not happy with the number 38 of Harrison Donovan. Tried to make the move on the last couple of corners. Nim was on the inside. Harrison Donovan slammed the door. It's going to work this time for the 33 of Kenneth O'Keefe. O'Keefe up 1 and maybe up 2. Here he comes on the 19, looking over Carson McClellan for position.
Yeah, that car really strong. That driver really strong right now. He was able to just jam that spot, the car down in and it's stuck, and able to take off that spot. But working his way up through the 19 right now. It gets a little bit loose there coming off corner number 4, blocking the inside a little bit right now on the 38, but the 38 not able to make a run.
You ride on board with Kenneth O'Keefe as the 36 and the 9 just in front of him had a moment. Josh Lawton shoved that car into corner number 1 and it's stuck. Hightower going to lose 2. Hightower may lose 3. The 19 of Carson McClellan now looking over the 36 for position.
Yeah, Marcus Lindsay in the 7th spot right there. The 36 of Jordan Hightower falls back to the 7th spot, but looks like Marcus Lindsay's on the move right now.
33, Kenneth O'Keefe looking over the 19 at Carson McClellan. Close racing for position at number 8. Let's add position number 7 to that as well. The 36 of Jordan Hightower just in front of this battle. 3-car battle for 7th.
Yeah, O'Keefe's got to remember there's still plenty of time to go, and you don't want to make too risky of a move right now as the 19 gets a little bit loose coming off before that time, and that will allow O'Keefe to pick up that spot.
McClellan trying on the high side, trying to pick up a position. Big wiggle from the 33 of Kenneth O'Keefe. Here comes the 38. 38 down low. This isn't going to end pretty. 33 has to save it as Harrison Donovan stuck that nose on the inside going into corner number 3. Big wiggle again from Kenneth O'Keefe. He saves it. Great save by the 33.
Yeah, he's got the rear tires overheated. And you know what? This could take a great day and a great result and ruin it real quick there. He got a little bit loose coming off the 4, almost wrecked it, and then he tried to block the 38 real hard and almost got wrecked. So, you know, you got to be smart about this. And even when you make a mistake, you got to suck it up and you know, take those couple positions you might lose and then come back later. But you could take right now, you know, he's got a really fast car and he got a little bit of trouble there and almost threw away his whole race.
Chad Coleman picks up a position in the number 27. Stephen Gilbert does the same, as does Chris Henyon. They are all passing Vinny Sansone. In the number 12, here comes the 18, and here comes the 22. 22 trying to pick up one more spot. That's Kevin Bulahasa looking to pick up one. He won't do it off the corner. 12, great run off 2.
Andrew Fash, the 3rd, now stuck up there on the outside lane. The 3 car gets a little bit loose right in back of them, but it looks like Fash up against the outside wall just a little bit there. Vinny Sansone losing some spots.
Right on board with Andrew Fayash, the 3rd, the iRacing Today, number 18, trying to clear the number 12 of Vinny Sansone on the outside, the 18 on the inside. He'll make the move. Now here comes Justin Thompson, looking to make the pass in the number 40, Vinny Sansone, falling back like a rock.
And he tried to force his way back down in line there, and you know, the other cars are having none of it. They want to get past Matthew Moose right there, forces his way by, and now Dale Mears will try to look underneath the 12 car, but Mears gets a little bit loose coming off of corner number 2, and that allows the 13 car of Justin Tremblay to look down underneath him.
Josh Lawton making his way back through the field. He's back to the 4. PJ Sturgis. Marcus Lindsay has been following the 9 through as well. This is at 4th, 5th, and 6th place right now, just behind Jason Lopez, the number 24 car. Down the back straightaway, 9 looking to set up a pass in the 4, looking to the inside, nothing doing in 3.
Yeah, Lindsay looking really strong here later on in the race. Now he's looking underneath the 9 car. Oh, and the 9 car gets up in the wall, and he hits the wall again. That's not good for the right side of that car to bang it twice like that. So we'll have to keep an eye on Lofting. But he's definitely going to have some issues with the right side of that car. As we lost Harrison Donovan, he looks like he's having electrical connection issues and has fallen from the race.
And he was running in the back half of the top 10, around 10th place when that happened. Tough break for Donovan in the number 38 car. Joshua Lawton falls back to position number 6, just ahead of Carson McClellan. As you ride on board with Marcus Lindsay, you see a whole lot of PJ Sturgis in front of you.
Lindsay working his way up to Sturgis. Now Sturgis, we saw, did struggle a little bit. Sturgis made his way up to the top half of the field on those green flag stops where he stayed out and he was able to catch a caution. But it looks like that Lindsay really strong right now. He's looking underneath Sturgis coming down the front straightaway, and he'll get position going down the front straightaway headed into corner number 1.
The 1 of Lindsay clears the 4 of PJ Sturgis. Sturgis looking to come back on the number 1. Can't do it in the middle of 1 and 2. Out of corner number 2, the 1 extends the lead on the 4. Marcus Lindsay now moving to the front of the field as they put a lap on the 35 of Josh Connors.
Yep, heading around the lap car of Connors. Connors will stay high and allow all these guys to go under him. That's the best thing to do here at iRacing, is that the groove is down low and the lap cars will move up high and allow everybody the easy path under them as these guys go by. It looks like Lofton's car not too worse for the wear after running into the wall coming off of 4 and down the front straightaway just a few laps ago. He's gaining a little bit of ground on PJ Sturgis right now, only a few seconds behind him. Sturgis falling back just a little bit, but Sturgis, although he struggled this week a little bit, Tim, here at Texas, he's got a great run going. He's in the top 5 right now and definitely could pick up a good top 10 finish.
Kenneth O'Keefe was making his way back to the front of the field, but it looks like he's stalled his effort right now in position number 8. Can't seem to push any further ahead. Maybe it might be in the plans to not burn up everything at this point in the race. O'Keefe runs in 8th behind Carson McClellan.
Yeah, there was a period of time there where he was trying really, really hard, and it looked like he overheated the right rear tires and got in a little bit of trouble. Maybe he learned a little bit from that. You know, he's still running really good, and even though he was, led a lot of laps in this race, you still got to think about the finish. And he had a couple of laps there where maybe as a frustration got the best of him, and he wasn't too smart for those couple of laps. But it looks like he's settled down right now, got back in line, got back in the groove, and is on his way again.
4-car battle for position number 5, Sturgis, Lawton, McClellan, and O'Keefe as they battle for that 5th place spot. We should also mention that Marcus Lindsay has made his way past J-Lo for position number 3, Jason Loafing. Back to position number 4, and Marcus Lindsay will now hunt Daniel Pope II and Richie Davidowitz, who leads this race right now by 2.1 seconds over car number 32. 9 and 4, closest battle on the racetrack. That is your battle for position number 5.
Yeah, now it looks like the 9-car off Lofton will get a run on Sturgis going down the front straightaway. Sturgis is very smart about this. He'll give him the position as they go into corner number 1, and he'll probably have to give up these next 3 spots and fall back in line right now. As we saw, Sturgis is struggling just a little bit, but he's able to keep that runoff going down the back straightaway as the 19-car of Carson McClellan now look to the inside, but Sturgis throws the block.
We saw earlier that number 4 knows how to throw a block. He got in line in time to get into line, so he didn't lose a whole lot of spots, only lost 1. He'll fall outside the top 5 to position number 6 for the time being. We work lap number 112. As you look back to the 19 and 33, 33 was looking on the 19 at Carson McClellan. Down the back straightaway we go, and Nim, I believe we're about a dozen or so laps away from seeing the first round, or the second round, check that, of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, any caution from here on out, we'll bring it right at the pit road. But as far as green flags pit stops go, we are only a few laps away from that. As the 19 car looks under Sturgis, Sturgis throws a little bit of a block right there. The 19 car has position going down the corner number 1, and got to be really careful right there. Now the 19 still looking underneath in corner number 2. We'll see if he make a pass down the front stretch.
Little bit of a drift from that number 4 off the corner as the 19 looks down to that inside line. 33 going to try to follow him through. Kenneth O'Keefe looking to pick up a spot. Is he going to let Sturgis into line? He's going to leave the hole there at a corner number 4. Sturgis only going to lose 1 spot. O'Keefe lets him in line in the number 33.
Yeah, I don't think O'Keefe wanted him to get there, but he just didn't have nothing to go. Now 33 goes right up underneath the 4 car there, almost makes contact. The 33 car getting into corner number 1 very, very well. And, that almost got him in the back of the 4 car right there. He's got to really be careful about that because, you get back the car in front of you, and that could also hurt you.
33 has to fall back, being a little bit aggressive there in that set of corners on lap number 114. Falls back now just a little bit off the back bumper of the 4 of PJ Sturgis. Keep the car in one piece, get some points here. Don't push it right now. We still have about 50 laps to go, or just over 50 laps to go in this race as the Diablo skins 33 to the inside. Not going to do it here.
Yeah, 33 car getting into the corners, very, very good. Coming down the front straightaway, this is where Sturgis suffers a little bit coming off before right there. We see a number of cars passing down the front straightaway. This time O'Keefe will be no exception as he'll make his way by and he'll pick up the 7th spot.
Oh, the 4 dives it in hard, and the number 33 almost made a little bit of contact with Kenneth O'Keefe. Nevertheless, Sturgis now back behind the 33 of Kenneth O'Keefe. That's the battle for 7th, and now O'Keefe, can he set sail and try to catch Carson McClellan?
Well, as all this fighting is going on, Richie Davidowitz is out front with a 2.2 second lead right now, so he's running away. But a lot of good fighting going on back here in 5th, 6th, 7th position right now. O'Keefe led much of the early parts of this race. He's working his way back up through and has now worked his way back up in the 7th position.
Guys looking to make their moves before their final round of pit stops, which will happen in just a few laps time if this thing stays green flag racing, and some great green flag racing that we saw here, Nim, in this second run. 2 pit stops. Richie Davidowitz leads as you look back here around the 12th, 13th place spot. Is he Jeremy Thornton and Chris Henyon as they battle for position.
Yeah, Thornton doing a great job up in the 13th spot right now. Henyon has had his troubles tonight, as we see Steve Gilbert heading towards pit road, and I'm not sure if that was expected or not, but came down pit road and got a little bit squirrely, but able to keep it under him. Henyon had some troubles early on in the race with the black flag and such, but he's working his way back up into the 13th spot right now.
42 barely overshot his pit box. He's going to be down on pit road getting service on his race cars. The 23 makes a pass on the number 41 of Jeremy Thornton. Thornton now looking back over that number 23 of Henyon to try to get that position back.
And it looks like Kenneth O'Keefe is headed down pit road and got real sideways as he tried to come into pit road there. So Kenneth O'Keefe coming to pit road on lap 119.
Last stop of the evening, O'Keefe comes into his box, and it looks good so far for O'Keefe. Right side tires going up on the Diablo Skins Chevrolet Impala. Is it going to be 2 tires here? Packet full of fuel. It looks like it will be 2 tires only.
I think he's serving a black flag. He was way too hot coming in the pits, got sideways, and right now he is serving a black flag penalty for his entry on the pit road.
And it looks like Alex Warren will also be serving a black flag when he comes down into pit road. Kenneth O'Keefe now down and away. Tough break for him. And Nick Ottinger had the same thing early.
Alex Warren violated the rule coming off of, you have to go around the apron through 1 and 2 and come off, head into the back straightaway. And it looks like Alex Warren entered the track a little bit too quickly, and we'll have to serve a black flag for that.
Richie Davidowitz is your leader, and you see Kenneth O'Keefe just in front of him. He is already 1 lap down. This would be his 2nd lap down as Davidowitz has a moment coming out of corner number 4.
You know, one thing that's exciting about this series, Tim, is that there's a lot of new drivers getting their first taste of this type of competition, and it is very, very difficult to race all the drivers that are so strong in this class. You know, it's one thing to be fast, but you also have to be smart about it, and you're going to see a lot of these drivers make these mistakes. And you know what's great is that they can make these mistakes in the Pro Series and gain that experience before they get into the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship next season. So you're going to see a lot of mistakes that these drivers are making, and we saw O'Keefe make a mistake right there, but he's going to gather it back up and still get a good finish for today's race.
Saw a little puff of smoke at a corner number 4 a couple of laps ago. Mitchell Hunt has blown the motor in the Libra. So Mitchell Hunt is done for the evening in car number 29. The number 8 of Richie Davidowitz looks like he may be bypassing pit road this time by. Looked like he may have wanted to come in that time. Top 3 and looks like top 5 are going to bypass pit road this time by as Matt Santel slaps the wall in the number 37.
Looks like Jeremy Thornton's heading towards pit road as maybe the Davidowitz crew threw a little bit of a fake that last time by trying to fake everybody else out, but Davidowitz doing a great job up front right now. A 2.6 second lead over Daniel Pope. Marcus Lindsay doing a good job in his race up in the 3rd spot right now. Loffing 4th and Lofton in 5th.
Battle for 7th back here. PJ Sturgis, Jordan Hightower, Harrison Weidelitz, and Chad Coleman as they battle for positions 7 on back. Just before green flag pit stops do happen, Sturgis has fallen back into the clutches of these guys after running up in the top 5 for a majority of this run.
Yeah, all these guys doing a really good job right now. Still in the top 10. They got their pit stops coming up. They're going to have to be really careful here. See how pit stops work out. But Sturgis is going to have to make some adjustments to that car. He's falling back. He's still quick, but he has been dropping spots instead of gaining spots. So he'll want to make a little bit of adjustments to that car. See if he can tighten it up a little bit and get a better run through the last section of this race.
You ride on the roof of the JDR Graphics Chevrolet Impala of Jordan Hightower, looking at the number 4 of PJ Sturgis as they battle for position number 7. Coming up at a corner number 4, we complete 127 here, and I believe that may be Carson McClellan coming on to pit road. He peels off from 6th.
36 car of Jordan Hightower looked underneath of Sturgis going down the front straightaway that time, but wasn't able to gain position. Andrew Fash, the 3rd's crew, up on the pit wall. He'll be coming in next time by.
Looks like your top 3 will bypass pit road at this time by. as the battle for position now number 6 comes up at a corner number 4. The 36 continues to look over the 4 of PJ Sturgis. A couple of laps away from these guys hitting pit road for the final time as they work down into corner number 1. Looks like Weidlitz falls off the back bumper a little bit of Hightower.
Looks like Dustin Thompson's crew is headed towards up on the wall, and he's headed towards pit road. A little bit of smoke as somebody's locking him up going into the pits right there. But you know, it's really difficult to go from 190 mile an hour coming off corner number 4 and get it down into pit road at 45 miles an hour, as we saw O'Keefe have his problems. Kenneth O'Keefe had some problems, you know, early on in the race. He's being scored 25th right now, 1 lap down.
Richie Davidowitz coming onto pit road. Richie Davidowitz in the 8. Now onto pit road. Got to whoa it down to pit speed. He looks like he may be good there as Jeremy Thornton's going to get the black flag for unsafe pit exit by the looks of it. So tough break for Thornton in the 41. Davidowitz coming down to get service on his race car.
Yeah, all these guys cutting really close coming to the pits. They want to be at 45 mile an hour, but you can make up so much time coming to the pits here. If you get a good aggressive pit entry, you can make up a good half second to a second on the lap. If you try to ease it in and take it easy coming to the pits, you could lose a half second to a second. So that's why all these drivers, they're trying really hard and they're all aggressive. That's what got them here. But you could really lose a lot of time getting a penalty coming on pit road. But it looks like Davidowitz did a good pit stop, and he's out and on his way.
Former leader Marcus Lindsay now onto pit road. He had to whoa that car down and nearly scrapes the wall in the number 1 coming into his pit box. Right side tires going on the number 1.
You have 2 tires, quit stop, probably not even a full tank of fuel there for the number 1 car of Marcus Lindsay. I really like the looks of Marcus throughout this race. He's been aggressive, he's been good. We didn't see him till the second half of the race. Oh.
Wreck as they battle for the lead. Hightower and Sturgis go at it in corner number 1. Caution flag will fly, and them looking back at this. 36 was looking down low, and we seen it from the 4 earlier in this race. That blind spot is there. Some of these drivers have spotters. Some of them have real spotters that are spectating the race. But we saw that before from the 4, just barely cutting down in front and making it happen. The 4 car was not clear that time.
Yeah, well, I think, with that, Tim, is, he did do it a lot this race. We saw a lot of blocking and such, but, all these guys are very aggressive, and they're some of the best on the surface here, and they're the best in iRacing, and they're going to teach him that sooner or later. They're not going to, keep putting up with that, and I'm not sure if in this case that he came down or the other car got into him, but, we'll just have to review that and see what happened. That's kind of a close call going in corner number 1 right there.
And the 4 car going to pay the price for this as Hightower still out on the racetrack, albeit he is going to have damage in him. The 4 of Sturgis, so heavy black smoke is rolling from that race car. So both cars damaged. The 4 car currently on pit road. It looks like from this vantage point the 36 may have some suspension issues with the back end of that race car. It's not tracking completely straight from what I'm seeing here, so he's going to have to come down and get service on that 36.
Yeah, a couple of these drivers got Vinny Sansone and the 32 car Daniel Pope. They got caught up in a secondary accident coming off corner number 2 as Sansone tried to get it going, and he may have gotten up into the 32 car a little bit there, causing some damage to a couple other cars. So a number of cars, probably about 4 or 5 cars, getting damaged total in this incident. But 133 laps down, 167 to go, and not too far to go. So we'll have to see how this works out going to the end. Now that we're at the end, are we going to see the kind of fight that we see in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship at the end of these fights where we get a lot of cautions, or are most of these guys going to be satisfied with their finish?
The pace car has picked up Chad Coleman on the back straightaway. Chad Coleman was scored in position number 8 the last time by. Second place behind the pace car is Jason Loafing, scored in 9th. Richie Davidowitz, Harrison Weidlitz, and Michael J. Johnson. Johnson 1 lap down in 25th place. So we'll see what happens here. I believe Chad Coleman is going to pit And I'm not sure, this may put him one lap down unless the likes of Henyon, Harrison, Hightower, Pitt. We're going to have to see where this all shakes out here, Nim. Scoring will loop here. Let's take this quick opportunity to step away. We'll let the scoring do its job. We'll bring you back to the final stretch to the finish for the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Marcus Lindsay scored as your leader right now. Don't go away. Welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Pace car is going to duck off here, and Nim, we had a lot of wave arounds. It's going to be the number one. Leading the field, you only have 3 rows side by side because there's a lot of guys at the tail end of the longest line. Lindsay, Henyon, Mears, Enstrom, and Bulahasa, your top 5 as they go into one.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Oh, the Del Mears almost gets into the Roland Enstrom right there, coming off through 1 and 2, but they were able to get sorted back up. But a lot of guys here out front who haven't seen their way up to the front yet tonight. But Marcus Lindsay, who's been strong in the second half of this race all night long, very, very strong, finds himself in the lead and doing a great job in a great position to be at the end of this race.
With 29 laps to go right now, this may be Marcus Lindsay's race to lose at this point. Lindsay, Henyon, Mears, Enstrom, Bulahasa, then Harrison, Loping, Davidowitz, Weidelitz, and Hightower, your top 10. As Kenneth O'Keefe, the driver that was dominant early, 20th place, last car on the lead lap, 21st on back, or 1 or more laps down in this race at the Texas Motor Speedway. 139 complete right here.
Now we'll look for Davidowitz. Davidowitz led most of that last session. He finds himself in the 8th spot right now, trying to work his way up to Jason Lofting, who's running in 7th. But Davidowitz a little bit loose coming off corner number 2 right there. Finds himself in the 8th spot. Still a very good position. So you're going to have to figure out how hard do you want to run to get to the front. Do you want to win this race, or do you want to put in a good finish and solidify yourself into that top 25 in the point standings right now? Because you remember the goal here in this series is to finish in the top 25.
8 car just in front of him. You see that 24 Jason Lofing. They put another lap on the 15 car Josh Connors, the alternative. Tim's Corner Motorsports, number 15 car, 35. Check that. Goes 1 more lap down to the field as the 8 car closes in on the number 24 of Jason Loafing. Just in front of them, I believe we have a side-by-side battle between Landon Harrison, great run for the 39, and the 22 on the high side. Bulaasa moves back to 6th.
Lindsay out to about an 0.8 of a second lead over Hennian right now. Delmire's about 4 or 5 car lengths off of Hennian. Right now coming through 3 and 4. Roland Enstrom, remember. We'll have to figure out exactly where he's from. I have to look him up here. But definitely from Europe. He started this race. It was about 3 in the morning his time when he started this race. He's a student right now going to college. So he said he didn't have any classes tomorrow. But, you know, pretty late, early in the morning for Roland Enstrom to be out there racing right now.
And he hails from the Scandinavian club. So he's from the other side of the pond, as he has Chad Coleman to his rear. Chad Coleman was the driver that came down pit road when he was on the tail end of the lead lap. So he is now 1 lap down, as Delmire's in the number 20 holds off the 25 so far of Roland Enstrom. Enstrom trying to close in on 3rd.
Yeah, Roland Enstrom has the lapped car right now behind him, the 27 car, and I have to check and see who that is right now, but he's trying to get some lap box. That's Chad Coleman, who is 1 lap down. He's trying to get that lap back, so he's racing pretty hard here towards the end of this race. 1 lap, 145, 167 to go, so about 23 laps to go, and Coleman wants that spot back, but Enstrom right now trying to trace down Delmire's for the 3rd position.
Just behind them, positions are changing. Jason Loafing underneath Kevin Bulaasa, 24, making up 1 spot. Richie Davidowitz trying to follow him through as well. Loafing moves up to position number 6. Does Kevin B slot into line here? No, he does not. Leaves the door open for Richie Davidowitz. Davidowitz underneath Bulaasa. Bulaasa may have got the wall into 1.
Davidowitz up into the 8th position, 7th position right now. Now looking to chase down Loafing. Davidowitz very strong there early on, and one member, our other driver, O'Keefe, who was strong early on and got that black flag penalty on pit road. He's currently on the lead lap in the 17th position.
PJ Sturgis has officially retired from this race. He will be credited with no better than 27th position on the racetrack, and with Josh Connors and a couple of others back there still on the track, he may lose a couple more. Harrison Weidlitz underneath Kevin Bulaasa for position 43. Trying to move up into position number 8. He's got Josh Lawton right behind him.
Yeah, Lawton looking to gain position on, but maybe both these cars going down the corner number 1. Maybe not the wisest moves, but he did force that other car up the track a little bit right there as he drove it a little bit hard, and now the 9 car of Lofton will pick up both those spots.
Here comes the 19 of Carson McClellan. McClellan gonna make his move up into the top 10 as Kevin Bulaasa falls from 8th to outside the top 10. He'll be scored in 11th this time by.
This time by 20 laps to go, as Lindsay now out to a 1.033 second lead over Chris Hennian. Delmire's 3rd, Roland Enstrom 4th, and Landon Harrison top 5.
Carson McClellan closing in on a solid top 10 run. He's got Harrison Weidlitz just in front of him. That would be position number 9 for Carson McClellan. Just in front of him is Josh Lawton in the number 9. Lawton trying to pull away from this battle. As you ride on board with the 19, that Josh Lawton machine gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, you see Harrison Weidlitz right up in front of him right there. Weidlitz doing a really good job, having a good, you know, non-spectacular race right now, but his race brings him up to the 9th spot, which is a very good race for your, you know, the first race out here in the Pro Series. 12 races. This is only the first one. You want to get a good start to your season here and get in the top 25 in points, and he finds himself in the top 10 right now.
17 laps to go, 5th and 6th place is the battle on the racetrack. It's Landon Harrison, it's Jason Loafing. Loafing closing in on the 5th place driver of Landon Harrison, looking down low, flashes the Chevrolet Impala. down low on the JDR graphics, number 39, nothing doing there. But if they don't resolve this battle, it will close in Richie Davidowitz, and the 8 Davidowitz getting a little bit bigger in the rear view.
Loafing looks underneath of the 39 car. Harrison going down the corner number 1. He's got position on him and won't make that pass. He's got to keep it down low, though. He has the preferred line coming off of corner number 2, but Harrison doing a great job out there on the outside, and he'll pick up that spot.
Here comes the number 8 now of Richie Davidowitz. Davidowitz looking over the number 24 of J-Lo for position. Number 6, Landon Harrison continues to keep position number 5. Davidowitz nearly gets into the wall off corner number 4. 24 now looking under 39 once again for position number 5 on lap 153, side by side for 5th. 24 gets a good run coming off of corner number 4, but he's not very good in the middle of 1 and 2. This time a little bit better, still side by side coming down the back straightaway. If he can hold on to that position through 3 and 4, he'll pick up that spot. And he might bring a freight train along with him. Richie Davidowitz now looking underneath Landon Harrison. Harrison shuts the door in the number 39. Here comes the 9 of Josh Lawton. Lawton is hungry underneath Richie Davidowitz, side by side for position number 7. Lawton trying to pick it up.
Lawton does pick up that spot off of Davidowitz. Davidowitz trying to get a run off of corner number 2 right now, and he has the 43 car Weidelitz looking underneath here, but Weidelitz had to back out. Harrison Weidelitz looking to pick up a spot. The 8 car as well looking hungry. Richie Davidowitz wants that spot back from Josh Lawton. 19 also in this battle at Carson McClellan. McClellan wants to pick up a spot here in the late going. 13 laps to go as McClellan looking over the cars in front of him. It looks like Davidowitz a little bit loose going through 1 and 2 right there. That allows the 43 car to get a little bit of run, but not able to challenge this time. But Davidowitz looking a little bit sketchy through 1 and 2. You ride on board with Richie Davidowitz looking up at the number 9 of Josh Lawton as the 9 comes close to that wall off corner number 4. Landon Harrison in the number 89 just in front of them, looking to try to pick up a little bit of time on the car in front of him, Jason Loafing, who currently runs in 5th. Lofton, remember, beat the right side of the car against the wall twice on 1 lap earlier in the race, but that car holding up very well as the number 19 car of Carson McClellan makes a move over Harrison Weidelitz coming off corner number 4. And we should mention as well, we look at Roland Enstrom as Josh Lawton makes the pass on Landon Harrison for position. We should mention that Roland Enstrom racing the last couple of races of the NVIDIA Grand Prix Series, Nim, with a broken arm. I believe he's still running with that cast. So Roland Enstrom right now, we'll have to check in the post-race interviews, but Roland Enstrom right now top 5. So far so good for the 25. Yeah, Roland's been at this game a long time, and he's been driving. He's a road racer, as we said before, and an oval racer, and he just drives all the time, and he's been doing it for many years, and has found his way into the Pro Series. And I don't doubt at all Roland will be a competitor in the NASCAR-Racing.com Series World Championship coming up in 2012. But Roland's got a lot of history, and he's one of those veteran drivers. But he is being tracked down by a number of hungry drivers right behind him right now. The best thing for Jason Loafing right now, as it looks like the number 9 of Josh Lawton will have to pass the number 27 of Chad Coleman to get up to that Jason Loafing number 24. Richie Davidowitz is under fire from the 19 and the number 43, McClellan and Weidelitz just behind Davidowitz. The 9 car is working his way about Chad Coleman, and it looks like he's going to get by him, but as we look off the rear bumper of Richie Davidowitz, who has the 19 car McClellan right now with a run down the back straightaway, and he's right there. He is there looking for that position. Carson McClellan also there as well. Harrison Weidelitz looking for a mistake out of the number 19 at this point. That is 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Harrison back to Weidelitz in that battle. It's a really tight battle here late in the race. Lap 161. These guys want to be careful. You got 6 laps to go the next time by. They just want to be careful to get a good finish in and not mess it up. Trying to get 1 or 2 more spots. Good racing, good finish for these guys, and they just want to be smart about it and remember what the whole deal for this series is.
Marcus Lindsay is your leader in car number 1. He leads by 2 seconds over Chris Henyon. Del Mears runs in third. Roland Enstrom in fourth. He is under heavy fire from the car behind him. That is Jason Loafing as they put a lap on Jordan Hightower in the 36.
The 19 car looked under Davidowitz going through 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 there as Davidowitz kind of squeezes them down just a little bit. He wants to hold on to that spot and not let the 43 car in, but the 43 car will have position going down the front straightaway, so Davidowitz might have to give up that spot also.
Here comes the number 9, Josh Lawton, to the inside of the number 24, Jason Loafing. They go side by side for position number 5. Down the back straightaway on lap 163, looks like Lawton is going to take the position in the Gale Force Sim Racing number 9. Now what can he do with Enstrom in front of him?
Loafing is right there. He's only about 3 car lengths in back of Enstrom. He'll look for that 4th spot here with about 4 laps to go next time by. Actually 3.
Here comes the 19, Carson McClellan underneath Landon Harrison. They have the door open. Harrison Weidelitz, is he going to come through? No, he's not. He's going to let Landon Harrison go in front of him. This time by, they'll come by to complete lap number 164. They'll have 3 laps to go right here.
Yeah, Lindsay got the race in hand as long as nothing happens here. Actually, if something happens, we'll finish under yellow. But Lindsay out to a 2.158 second lead. Henny in second, Mears third, Enstrom fourth, and Lofton fifth. And then we see this battle back here for the 9th position. As Weidelitz right now side by side with Landon Harrison.
Weidelitz to the inside, opening the door for Richie Davidowitz. Davidowitz looking to stick the nose underneath Landon Harrison for position in the number 8 car, looking for position number 9 as Harrison falls back to position number 9. Weidelitz up to position number 8 as they battle with 2 to go.
Harrison gets a run down the back straightaway. Davidowitz not able to make a challenge coming down the back straightaway.
This time by, the white flag will fly. 1 lap remaining for Marcus Lindsay, Chris Henyon in a second, Del Mears in a third. Those positions are right now currently locked in unless there's a mistake by one of those drivers. Del Mears, or Roland Enstrom in fourth. Check that. Enstrom has a battle on his hands. Josh Lawton behind the number 25 of Enstrom. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Marcus Lindsay going to lead. The battle is going to be for 4th. Here comes Lawton to the inside. Here comes Jason Loafing. Enstrom trying to hold off. Lindsay wins the first race of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. And it's going to be the number 9 of Josh Lawton getting that 4th place position away. Lindsay, Henyon, Mears, Lawton, Enstrom, top 5.
Enstrom wasn't even sure he made the race here today, and after qualifying way in the back, and winds up with a top 5 finish.
And what a run for Marcus Lindsay after green flag pit stops, throws a wrench into the final plans, the final run to the checkered flag. Lindsay will be credited as your winner. Chris Henyon in a second. Del Mears, after the storied run that he had to get into this series, finishes in a third. Great run for Del. Josh Lawton, Roland Enstrom, Jason Loafing, Carson McClellan, Harrison Weidelitz, Landon Harrison, and Richie Davidowitz are your top 10. We'll take this opportunity to step away for just a few moments' time, bring you back to the post-race show where we will talk to your top 5 finishers. Race fans, don't go away. Post-race up next.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Tim Terry is down with your winner in victory lane, so we'll throw it down to 10 with Marcus Lindsay.
Marcus Lindsay coming home with the win here this evening. Car number 1 finishes in position number 1. Marcus, talk about the run and what was going through your mind when that last caution flag came out to set up that run to the finish.
Oh, well, it took us about half a lap to figure out where actually we were going to be sorted. I didn't realize I was in the lead. We kind of lucked out with the caution placement. We came out right in front of the leaders, so I was very happy.
This has to be a real shot in the arm. 34 laps led here this evening. Looks like you're going to be the point leader heading out of this race. What are the goals in this season? Of course, top 25 is the major goal, but where do you see yourself finishing? Are you aiming for a top 10 run here? Can you pick up a couple of more wins before this season is out? What are the goals set before this season?
I think the primary goal is definitely top 25. I'd like to run DWC full-time next year. I'd like to finish top 10 in points for a personal goal. I think I can do that. Obviously, this finish really helps, so that's nice.
A lot of strong competition here in this series. How big is a win in the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series?
I think just the added points is good. Get about 10 more points than we expected. Helps if we have any bad runs later on, possibly get caught up in a wreck.
Now, before we let you go here this evening to celebrate the win at Texas for the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, who makes it happen for Marcus Lindsay?
Oh, we don't have any sponsors on the car. It's a solid black car, I'm pretty sure. But I know mainperformancepc.com helps out a lot of the people who helped me with setups. Kevin King, Jason Loafing built an awesome qualifying setup, and all those guys really helped keep me calm through the race, put me in a good position to capitalize.
There you go. There's your winner, Marcus Lindsay. 34 laps led en route to the victory here this evening. I'm going to kick it down with Nim Cross, who's caught up with Turk, Chris Henyon.
Down here with Chris Henyon in the second place finish tonight. Chris bringing home 43 points for that NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Second in points right now. You got to feel good about that run.
Yep. It was definitely a lot of work. I did it to myself, though. Put myself in a penalty situation, and it feels good to come away with a second place finish. Definitely need a good start to one of these seasons. You never know what can happen. A lot of the front runners that you would expect to run good in this race had problems, and it's good to capitalize and get good points. I'm happy to come away out of that with 43 points and whatever.
He did have a bit of an up and down race, and maybe even some controversy in the race. Tell us about the black flag, and also tell us about the run-in with Matt Santel down the back straightaway.
Well, the black flag deal, we were coming into the pits under a caution, and I'm all about making all the time I can, whenever I can, and I believe it was Harrison Donovan. He was slowing down, and I figured, well, there's an opportunity to pass someone, but apparently, according to the rules, you're not allowed to pass to the left on pit road, because basically what I did was block Harrison Donovan from getting to his pit stall, which kind of makes sense. So I got a penalty, and then the penalty, when it was issued, it was coming to the green, and basically I got a black flag during that, and it kind of jumbled up the field, and a lot of the wave-around cars ended up catching up to the field, so I inadvertently helped all of my competitors out. And then the deal with Matt Santel, coming out of turn 2, he got free. He lost some time coming off the corner, and I had more momentum than him. And I'm the type that if there's an opening at all, I'm going to try to make every advantage to get by you. And he left a little opening, and I had a bumper on him, and at that point I just didn't lift, and I sent him around. I feel bad, but you pinch, you pay. That's the rule. You've seen Brian Vickers and Tony Stewart at a Sears Point.
Well, a good finish for you, second place. You got to feel strong for your start to the season. Still 11 races yet to go. What are your goals for this year, or this season?
Definitely to acquire enough points to be moved up to DWC would be the goal, and anything above that, like a win or a pole or something, would be kind of exceptional, and I'd appreciate having something like that. But just having a good points finish, that's about all I'm looking for. Nothing too much.
Who makes it happen for you?
All my friends on the Ask Horse team speak. They helped me out, and Brian Blackford, give him a shout out, and Mike Bass, they helped me out tonight.
All right, great job. Out to Chris Hennian, bringing it home in second place. We'll throw it over to Tim Terry, who's caught up with Del Mears.
Del Mears coming home in position number 3. And Del, after 2011 season 3, the rush to get into this series, this third place finish has to feel great.
It sure does, buddy.
Talk about that last caution flag. A little bit of confusion with the scoring, but it plays out in your favor.
Yeah, we stayed out that last caution when they had the pit stop. And I knew before that, the green flag run we had going, everybody was pitting early, and I knew there was going to be a caution flag coming out. So we stayed out, rolled the dice, and it worked out in our favor. But yeah, the setup wasn't that great tonight. We were struggling. We got it better on that last run, but it was a rough night.
Rough night, and had a lot of work to do. Came from that 30th place position. Had to pass a lot of cars to get up here to third.
2 words for you, buddy: patience and attrition.
That's exactly how it played out. I know you and your team had a fantastic night. It didn't play out well for John and for Mitchell and for Nick, but they had some great runs early. Overall, for Gale Force Sim Racing, you have to be happy with the way the first race came out and how well the team ran early in this race.
Yeah, I screwed up my qual lap. I got loose coming off 4 and started in the back, and the rest of the guys put it all up front. So we had a good start until the green flag dropped and Mitchell got taken out, and then Nick was unfortunately behind me when I got fenced down going through 1 and got loose, and John got involved in a wreck. But we're gonna come back. We're gonna all be strong. We're gonna come back and make something happen next week.
Now, can you get a couple of wins here in this series? I know your goal's top 25, but can you get maybe up there and battle here for a championship? Going to be third leaving here.
I don't know. I think there's probably a couple tracks on this season I might have a decent shot at, but overall I'm looking for top 10s every week. That's my goal.
Before we let you go, who makes it happen for Del Mears?
Gale Force Racing. All the guys over at Gale Force Racing just keep coming up in the clutch with these setups.
And it showed well here this evening. Del Mears coming home in position at number 3. I'm going to kick it over to Nim, who has caught up with Josh Lawton, finishing in position number 4.
Finishing in the 4th position, Joshua Lawton brings it home today, and he gathers up a good finish for the first race at Texas in the iRacing.com, NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Joshua, a good finish, brings it home 4th. How'd it feel?
Feels good. A little disappointed though. I think we could have had something better. Got caught twice by caution coming out after we pitted, but I think we restarted 14th, 15th there, and drove our way up to 4th. So I was pretty happy about that. Car was good.
Yeah, definitely very strong at the end and passing a lot of cars. The pit stops did get you caught back a little bit. Maybe you think about working at some of these tracks to stay out a little bit longer next race, or are you comfortable with that type of strategy?
Well, it's pretty. I mean, it looked like a green flag run, and it's just so hard to tell. But I mean, the strategy, I pitted probably 5 laps sooner than I maybe could have, but I was trying to short pit a little bit and use some strategy, and it bit me tonight. But I mean, we recovered and finished 4th, and we qualified 4th, so we parred the hole tonight, and we just need to get them solid top 5 finishes and get ourselves back in the DWC.
So the DWC is definitely probably your main goal for this season. What other goals do you have set up for the Pro Series?
With the run tonight, win races. I think we're more than capable of winning races. Marcus, he was fast, and we were able to hold him off on that long run. So, I mean, had the cautions played in my favor, I think we had a good shot at winning. Had we probably had about another 20 laps, I'd probably finish second because we were coming forward there. So, the first thing is the finish and get the best possible finish we have. I'd like to win some races, but the ultimate goal is to get back in the DWC.
Who makes it happen for you?
Need to thank all the guys at Gale Force Racing. We had a stellar qualifying setup and a great race setup. Just need to thank all those guys, all the Gale Force suspension for coming on board for pro season, and looking forward to the season.
Great finish tonight. 4th place for Joshua Lofton. We'll throw it over to Tim Terry, who's got Roland Enstrom.
Roland Enstrom coming home in position number 5. We're getting him hooked up here. Roland, you had some work to do here this evening, coming from deep in this field to finish in the top 5.
Yeah, that was a crazy race. I mean, I was too cautious on the qualifying. I almost didn't make the field. I think I started 41st. Lap 10, I had an accident because someone scraped the wall on the straight and bumped to the side of me, and my car was junk after that. So it's incredible. I'm here in 5th now.
And you had to fight for that at the end. Josh Lawton was closing in. You had Jason Loafing, Carson McClellan. They're right nipping at your heels. A tough battle there at the end, eh?
Yeah, at the end I was just so thrilled to be back up there and racing for good points. So I was just happy to be there. And when Joshua got around on me on the last lap, I just let him go because there was no reason to fight. I would have been happy to just finish in the top 20 after that. So.
And you talk about getting a good finish out of this one, coming home in 5th. I know you've been fighting the wrist injury. How's the wrist after 167 laps at Texas?
It's okay. It's no problem to drive. It's just that it's kind of hard to. I mean, when the car steps out sideways and I had to turn right, it's kind of difficult. But as long as I drive smooth, it's no problem.
You mentioned that top 20 goal, top 20 each week. Try to get you into the top 25 in points to make the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Any other goals that you set at the start of the season?
No, that's the one goal. I mean, I'm a rookie here. If I don't make it this year, maybe next year. But if I can make the top 25 this year, it's going to be great. So this finish really helps.
Before we let you go, who do you want to thank for getting this 5th place finish? Who makes it happen for Roland Enstrom?
I want to thank the guys at Perfect Pedal for giving this opportunity to me, and also my teammates at the Orion Race Team. It's just incredible to be here on the oval side because I'm a road racer from the start. So to get this chance to fight with you Americans, I mean, it's in the middle of the night here in Sweden. So I want to thank those guys, Perfect Pedal and Orion Race Team.
Definitely made a big statement here this evening. Roland Enstrom coming home in position number 5. Completing your top 10 here this evening. Jason Loafing came home in 6th. Carson McClellan in 7th. Harrison Weidlitz in 8th. Landon Harrison in 9th. And Richie Davidowitz completes your top 10. Davidowitz had a strong run this evening. Led 61 laps. Led the most laps of this race. Kenneth O'Keefe led 60 laps of the race, one shy of the most laps led. He also put up the fastest lap of the race with a 28.717. Nim Cross, final thoughts before we sign off here this evening. Fantastic race, and I know we're only scheduled to do the last race of the season, but I know if everybody liked the product that they saw, they want to see more of this NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, head over to iRacing.com, make a couple of posts in the forums, make their voices heard, eh?
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing I think that we saw in this race tonight is that the Pro Series is full of a lot of very fast drivers. But there's a lot of drivers here that aren't used to this type of competition, and a lot of drivers made some rookie-type mistakes. They're going to have to think while they're driving, and they're going to have to sort out, when they want to make their moves and not drive at 100% every single lap, because we saw a lot of good cars getting wrecks when they didn't need to. So a lot of these guys got to start thinking a little bit with their brain and not just with their right foot. And if they want to make this, make the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship for 2012.
Next week, the series heads to the Phoenix International Raceway. That is round number 2. We are scheduled to join you again on January 18th when we head to the Darlington Raceway for the finale of this 12-week season. Once again, head over to iRacing.com and make your voices heard if you want to hear more of these on the air. And once again, Saturday as well is the kickoff for the roadside for the Pro Series. That's going to be a fantastic show. You won't want to miss that. That's coming up on Saturday afternoon. That's going to do it for us here on PSR TV. So for the whole crew, Ilka Happala, Ian Bushing, Chuck Johnson, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, and Nim Cross, my name is Tim Terry saying we'll see you next time when we say let's go racing, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.